Good morning.
Good morning.
We have just released our 2017 figures. They are great, and Julian wanted to explain to you a little bit the details. Before we do that, there is something much more important that we want to talk to you about. And that is the terrible murder of our reporter Jan Kuciak and his fiancée in Slovakia. Just a couple of days ago, we were happy to share with you the great news about Dennis Yücel being free and being able to return to Germany, a kind of victim of media freedom, freedom of expression. And now we learn that in Slovakia something even more terrible happens, that 2 people are killed. We still don't know exactly why, but the likelihood is pretty high that it is related to the investigative reporting that Jan did about mafia structures in Slovakia. And we, of course, tried to do everything to help his family and be there and give support. But I think there's also one other very important lesson, and that is that the whole event did not lead to the fact that the coverage about these mafia structures is now oppressed, is limited. It leads to the opposite. There's even more coverage, even global coverage about these events. And I think that shows that independent journalism can prevail and has to prevail. And we are also now in that spirit establishing a newsroom where journalists from various media brands all around the world are working together on independent investigative reporting in that context, which I think is also a great symbol. So we have to keep up that spirit. It's a very terrible event, but it should strengthen our role and it should strengthen our ambition to keep independent and critical journalism alive.
Figures for 2017 are really good. You've followed that probably through the first 3 quarters. And also Q4 has been very strong. So what does it mean for the whole year 2017? Revenues went up by 8%. EBITDA went up by 8%. And this was really supported by all 3 operational segments. For each of these 3 segments, revenues and EBITDA went up. So not only for the pure digital segments like classifieds, media and marketing media, but also for news media, where it's obviously harder to achieve. They had an increase in revenues and also in earnings. And due to these really strong results, we propose to the shareholders meeting to increase the dividend from €1.90 to €2. So that's very good news, we believe, for our shareholders and also for those of you who have participated in 2017 to the global employee stock plan. And all of you who didn't have a chance to do that, please feel encouraged by these good results to do that this year or later, whenever you believe that's the right step for you.
Well, I think it was a year full of highlights, of course, and it's hard to pick them. But for us, it's extremely important that Business Insider is doing so well all around the world, particularly in the United States, with top-line growth of more than 45% revenue growth. That's remarkable and a great achievement of the team, and it gives us confidence that Business Insider is really becoming more and more a core asset of Axel Springer, next to Bild and Welt in the publishing segment. Bild and Welt also doing well. In the case of Welt, of course, a highlight was the very successful brand transformation of the TV channel N24. That is now also a natural part of the Welt group. We have Welt as a newspaper, we have Welt as an online brand, and we have Welt as a TV product. And I think we are globally the only national brand that has done that. And it's very exciting to follow the further development of this fully integrated group. Then, of course, in the classified segment, on the one hand, very happy to have been able to close the transaction of Logic Immo, which is strengthening our real estate position in France. We are, on the other hand, very proud of Stepstone's terrific growth development in a lot of markets, mainly in Germany. with growth of more than 20%. And then also the successful merger of Awin and Affiliate is going to be a big step for the development of our performance marketing. Those are just some spontaneously picked highlights of this very successful year. We are very happy that we have a new board member, Stefanie Kaspar, is joining our executive board. That's great because Stefanie stands for successful performance. Stefanie stands for a very modern culture, team-oriented work style. And Stefanie stands for something that we urgently need to improve in the whole company and particularly on the executive level, and that is competence for technology and data. It is going to be the decisive success factor of a company like Axel Springer in the future, and we have now a strong person to strengthen that competence. During the last Tuesday town hall talk, we also discussed the topic of sexual harassment. Of course, in a company of that size, we cannot exclude that here and there cases are happening. But what we absolutely have to make sure that everybody knows that there is zero tolerance for such a kind of behavior. And as we said, we can only encourage everybody who has personally experienced something or seen something in that context should be really encouraged to share that with colleagues. And of course, we have improved our instruments here that you have various possibilities to do that in 100% undisclosable manner. So personal data will not be used. You can do it externally with an independent lawyer. You can do it internally in our compliance department, where you have both genders represented to receive this information. And we can assure you that we will deal with that, if you wish, 100% confidentially. But it is really important that these cases are brought up and that everybody understands there is absolutely no room for this kind of behavior in our company.
So on behalf of the entire executive board, I would really like to thank you for all of your efforts in 2017 that have helped us together to create these really strong results for Axel Springer. We also want to continue to be the pace setter together with you in the world of digital media in 2018.
And don't miss the next Tuesday Town Hall Talk on April 10th. We really appreciate the developing dialogue with you, and as you know, sometimes we are even spreading exclusive news.
Thank you.
Thank you.